So what I want to talk to you all today about is like our water situation. That's another question we get asked a lot, right? Like these are foundational needs, shelter, food, water, money these days, right? Like our foundational needs. So this was the spring area. And when I say was, that's because from what it sounds like, of multi-generations out on this land, this spring was never dry. It ran consistently. And when we came out here a year ago, 2 years ago, it was a little intermittent. So we've been trying to recover it. So you see all these dig holes, like this mess right here. That's from us digging in it, trying to recover the spring. We may continue to go for that. We've got this valley that runs up here, so we've got neighbors telling us there has to be water here. We're just not finding it. So we'll continue. When we first got in here, it was running pretty strong every time it at least rained. And you'll even see, I don't know if I can zoom up here, like our can there. It was cool and running enough that we would store our drinks in here to keep them cold on the warm days that we were working. And since the last 7 months, it's been completely dry. We've had some blasting in our area for a new highway about 2 miles away from us, so we're not sure if that has something to do with it, and the water's just diverted elsewhere. A couple of the neighbors down the road who also live off spring water, their springs are dry as well. So it's either seasonal or because of the blasting, which is unfortunate. There is one neighbor, though, that was able to dig and find some. They're new to the area as well. So we're hoping to learn from him a little bit. Maybe he can show us the rope. I've tried dowsing, being an energy worker. That was like an old school way, something I was really interested in. So I doused this valley. And the dowsing rods show that there's water there. Like I said, we're just not finding it. So we did purchase this food grade water tank. Again, we found it off Facebook Marketplace for about $100. So that's pretty good because brand new, they're like 600. 250 gallons, I think is what it is. And we filled it up twice. The first time it's been filled up, it was from spring water. So it was good and clear. There wasn't any sediment and all that jazz. You can kind of see the outside of the tank's dirty. Again, the rain and mud has been our hardest thing to navigate out here, swamp life. But you can see even like over the outside mud that the water's darker in there. So this is what we would call rainwater, essentially. So we're collecting it when it rains from a low spot in the ground. So it's not necessarily spring. So it does have a lot more sediment in it. Now, this has been useful. We are bathing with it for the most part. It's just mineral water. It's not that bad. And we've been mixing concrete with it. We've been anything that we've needed to hose down or whatnot, cleaning with it, but we haven't been drinking. Justin, from his hike experience, and I'll link inspiring hikes down below. Y'all might be interested in all that. He's got videos that just kind of show you how to do it, help you navigate, and can help you with gear and all that stuff too. But he has what's called a Sawyer squeeze, and we used it hiking a lot. It's supposed to help clear out the sediment and all that jazz. They also use them in emergencies, so like in hurricane areas and all that. But unfortunately, there's not enough pressure from the tank to get it through the Sawyer squeeze. So we were hoping we were going to be able to like put it on the hose or put it right connected here and be able to filter out clean drinking water. But that didn't work. So we're having to squeeze it back home. And again, if you're interested in that concept, check out Inspiring Hikes. I'll link their website down below, and he's got their YouTube videos on there. So this setup, though, is helpful for, like I said, mixing all the things and all that jazz. We've been carrying in drinking water either from his place of work or from like Walmart, where they have, you can go fill up those blue like 30-gallon drums for about 35 cents. It's not 30 gallons, it's 5 gallons. So 30 cents for 5 gallons of drinking water. Can't really beat that. Still pretty cheaper than like a water bill. So that's how we solved that problem. So when we first got over here, spring was running. We needed to create some type of drainage system for like overflow on the road. So what we did here was use the rocks that were around here, built this drain. It was kind of already naturally there, but we dug it out a little bit more. And then underneath this little bridge that we did is like a drainage pipe that we covered with clay that was from the ground. So remembering all of our soil here is like clay. And when I say clay, I mean clay. Like we can make pots out of it. So it runs, you can see where all these little flowers are blooming here. It drains over here. And it's been overgrown by these flowers, but we kind of did the same thing. There's rocks, and you'll notice there's not a lot of movement these days. This is one of my favorite things we did, is this little bridge. So when I say bridge, it's not high off the ground by any means. It's pretty much like laying on the ground in that tube. But we wanted to take some weight off of the drain, and it used to get really swampy here. This used to be one of our worst areas. So we utilized our resources. We had to cut down these little trees from this path anyway in order to get the vehicle in and create the driveway. So since they were here, we used them, we laid them down. There's a tree that runs this way on each side, so over there, and then we nailed them with some big ass freaking nails to anchor them in. It's done great. We weren't sure if it was going to hold the truck or not. It does. It holds the truck. These little guys, you can see here, the front couple spots have begun to split and kind of start disintegrating. The rest of it's pretty good. We're kind of contemplating using it in, it's an S turn, but we call it the shit turn because we're never sure if we're going to get out of it. But we might do that concept on some of our other spots. Because again, we have all these trees. These were initially going to be used for cordwood, but we've had to kind of adapt based off our land. So, you know, I've told you guys a couple times, I'll tell you again, we started out here with the idea of an earthship. We started out here with an idea of a particular location. We moved from an earthship to cordwood just because of the type of material that was already on hand here. So again, like holistic sustainability, closing our energy leakages, using our resources, and we've landed on something completely different. We'll talk more about that when I get to show you guys the build. Just little fun things we've done along the way over here. So when we were first cutting through this area, we were tired and sitting on the ground. So he cuts these stumps high so he can go back and spray them. And we just kind of let them do their thing. Ones that we don't spray and stuff actually start growing medicinal mushrooms just naturally. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we use this as like a bench. So we just kind of laid these boards here. And then this gives us a good place to sit. One of our favorite places to sit when we're working hard. So yeah, that's the water deal for right now. That is why I guess I should add in here rainwater collection. So everyone asks us, everyone's concerned about the spring, but you've heard me say time and time again, the rain's been one of our biggest issues in the sense of like creating a swamp, right? Creating mud. But because that rain has been one of our biggest issues, that tells us that that is actually one of our biggest solutions. One of the things we're most abundant of. So again, requires lots of perspective shifts. So our area, to be considered a rainforest, you have to have 65% waterfall. a year, and our area is at about 60. So we're pretty down close to rainforest. Not too far off. So that tells us that we can utilize water from the sky versus water from the ground, right? So everything that we do from now on, once we get things setting up, means there will be rainwater collection on it. So the compost house will have its own ability to collect rainwater. The shower house will have its ability to collect rainwater. Our home will collect rainwater from the roof, and we'll store it, filter it, and pump it. So we'll get water that way versus feeling like we're dependent on a spring source that is intermittent or non-existent. Maybe one day we'll be lucky enough to have spring, but you know, that might not be the case. So if you're doing any of this or interested in doing any of this, trying to cut down water usage elsewhere, just think about that. Like, rainwater is an option. Even if you're inside city limits, you can't do this whole off-grid thing, but you want to decrease your cost of utility bills, or you want to just try to start reducing your carbon footprint, things like that. Rainwater collection for your plants. You can collect rainwater and like replumb that into your house and just have the water system through your city as a backup type thing. So there's lots of different options there. We're fortunate, a lot of states require you, and this has just been through research, a lot of states like will not let you collect rainwater. A lot of states will require you to obtain a permit to collect rainwater. And luckily, like West Virginia, one of those free states where you do not have to have a permit, and they actually encourage it just because of how much rainfall we do receive. Yeah, so pretty interesting. It's all kind of about learning your environment. What environment are you in? What does your state allow? What does your county allow? What does your city allow? And then you can shift your resources, your perspective, your way of doing things based off that knowledge. So hope this helped. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video as we share what's going on a little further down the road. Take care.